Alexa Bunny here, coming at you with Lilith and Gemini. If you hear a noise upstairs, it's new neighbors. They have like a little baby and they're kind of noisy sometimes, so excuse that. It's about time I came up with this. Shout out to my listeners and my fans. I really appreciate everyone who actually watches these. By the way, I got a new tattoo. Yeah, so that was just a little quick thing. And let's get this show on the road, shall we? Lilith and Gemini, Dark Moon, Lilith and Gemini. What does it mean to be someone with this placement? A knife party. The essence of this person is a knife party. They are very good at deception, but it's almost as if they're playing that game not only with others but with themselves. They are so watered down in the area of being objective, meaning they can tap into it in a way that not only are they juggling both sides of the argument, they don't even know, because a normal Gemini person, they will juggle both sides, the opposite, polar opposites, the twins. They will hold these opposites and they'll just stand at a place and they can tap into both, and it's kind of like a theater show for themselves, but at the end of the day, don't really take it seriously. But Lilith and Gemini, they fall into it to the point that they actually could tap into, like, how do I say it? It's not that they don't know who they are, but it's more like they put on all these theater shows and then they find in the end they're not sure if it was what it seemed to be in the beginning. So it's a lot of built up like flandering carelessly for some time and then withdrawing and having to realize and decide who they really are. And sadly, sometimes that's the thing that they can't do. They can't realize exactly who they are. It's like they can't look at themselves in the mirror because they know that they're the biggest trickster of them all. And they spent their whole life tricking and having fun and just, going with the tide and not really thinking too deeply behind the meanings of things. And then come to turn, they pay a cost in the end, and then they're left with all this baggage, and they can't, the baggage isn't so much physical as it's mental. So they look in the mirror and they don't know who they're looking at, and it's kind of scary. It doesn't really show itself to others unless you get deep psychologically with this person, because that's when it actually comes to show. Like, because when you're just socializing, it's very easy to conceal these sides of ourselves, the truth of ourselves. And when someone like this is, put into a corner, that's the one place they can't be, because that's the one place they never planned for their entire life. And it's hard to say like somebody with no identity, because they do have an identity, but it's almost like costumes, shuffling costumes. And they're just someone with a very bad hold on this placement is someone who's constantly running. They will adopt an argument, a show, a character, and they will act in a certain way. But it's only to just get across the river. But when they actually get to the other side, they go back across. Because that's not what they wanted. They didn't foresee ever coming across what they would do, actually, because that's not, they go where the wind flows. But when they don't have a good hold on that wind, they go back and forth, back and forth. Could be a tornado sometimes. They can be very good communicators and artistically inclined, comedians. Gemini can literally have a conversation about anything. Sarcasm, crude humor. But going back to that disassociation of the self and the doings, no matter what they might seem in first impression, there is this transcendent level of detachment that is unmatched in their minds, and that's like akin to PTSD in the most, what's the word, comparative to it, because that level of objective perspective is so cold and so clear, they can't handle it themselves. And when others see it, it's like, whoa, this person is not at all there. It's like groundbreaking. It's like, whoa, you didn't think that someone who was seen a certain way could be so not there. And it's alarming. How do I better characterize this? It's like physically and mentally putting on a mask. And it's not that they take pleasure in it, it's just what they do. The endless possibilities of everything. Cannot ever really truly believe in one side, the manifestation of a Rubik's Cube. Some people, their contradiction, Lilith and Gemini, but you could also say Gemini, is a contradiction within a contradiction within a contradiction until you have non-stop. Like, it's just someone who just wants to remain in the ambiguities, no matter what the costs. And it could be a danger to others, it could be a danger to themselves, but they can't, like, the way the wind blows, the way, like, the flea of the moment, the adrenaline of, like, taking that risk is actually kind of more honest. And that's why Gemini gets such a bad rap, because it's not that they want to be an a-hole and, piss everyone off by doing the thing that nobody wants them to. It's more like inside themselves is so like transparent. They can't even pretend. They just have to go where it takes them. It's a pull. It's like this. Let me show you. It was just here. One of my favorite jewelry pieces, and I love jewelry, is this. And I am Sun Gemini cusp. This is in handcuffs. This is kind of a another analogy for Lilith and Gemini, because the pull is always there. They can't deny the flow of blood and life, and energy. It's pulling. You can't stay in one spot because it's imprisonment. You can't imprison the mind. The mind is such a powerful thing and people don't understand. And when I said knife party, it was back to in reference to someone who I used to talk to was Lilith and Gemini. He called himself Knife Party, and it was in reference to this movie. And it's just like the pursuit of the most absurdly like offensive thing, and it's just for the sake of it. And it seems so reckless. It seems so juvenile almost. And this is played by the roles of, twins, of students, peers, people who like to gossip, tell secrets, brothers, sisters, like little like petty thieves. Like it's those little things like you'd think like aren't so harmful, but they it's like compulsive stuff, and it stems from this inner, you can't deny. It's hard to say with Gemini. Gemini is so hard to pinpoint. That's the essence of it. You can't pin it down. It's always going to pull apart. It's going to cross the rivers multiple times. It's going to go where the wind blows. If the wind says this way, the Gemini will not question it. And if it's someone with a bad hold in Gemini energy, they will not only follow where it goes, but they will not know when to stop. And when they look back on themselves, they realize if they haven't, tried to balance it, how much they've wasted and how much harm they've caused themselves, because they've been doing all these things that seemed like it was the character they were playing, but in the end, it wasn't them, it was just other things. And the thing I would tell this person, it's a Jekyll and Hyde dynamic. Uncontrollable, very scary. When I was little, I read that